Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube channel of Eternal Enchanting Bliss Medicine. Today we are going to study about regulation of growth hormone. So basically, first of all, we know that hypothalamus releases growth hormone inhibiting hormone and growth hormone releasing hormone. This growth hormone inhibiting hormone is also called as somatostatin. It is released by periventricular nucleus of hypothalamus, and the growth hormone releasing hormone is released from arcuate nucleus of hypothalamus. As the name suggests, this growth hormone inhibiting hormone inhibits the anterior pituitary to release the growth hormone, and this growth hormone releasing hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary to secrete the growth hormone, which act on target tissues to produce insulin like growth factors called somatomedins. Okay, so this is the basic framework. अब इसमें growth hormone inhibiting hormone, it has 14 amino acids, and the growth hormone releasing hormone, it has 44 amino acids. Basically, सबसे पहले there is negative feedback. This somatomedins send negative feedback to anterior pituitary. The growth hormone send negative feedback to hypothalamus. With its increasing levels, like body will get a signal that the substance present is enough, we don't need more of it, so these negative loops will act, and this GHRH will also inhibit the hypothalamus. These are all example of negative feedback loops. Here it's an ultra short negative feedback loop. Also, at the same time, if we have to inhibit something, let's say we have to inhibit growth hormone, the very first thing we can do is that we can inhibit the organ producing it. We cannot send stimulatory signals to it, or we can promote the inhibitory substance, uh, or we can promote its antagonist. The promotion of inhibition is ultimately inhibition. So this somatomedins stimulate the increased levels stimulate the growth hormone inhibiting hormone, and this growth hormone also stimulates the secretion of growth hormone inhibiting hormone. Basically, this is an example of negative feedback within the pathway. Now let's talk about other things, the physiology. We know about growth hormone releasing hormone. The blood glucose. When the blood glucose decrease, then it stimulates GHRH. Decreased blood glucose hypoglycemia is one of the potent stimulus for GH release. As we know that growth hormone is a diabetogenic hormone. Okay, it increases the glucose level, prevent its uptake. Okay, then ghrelin. This is also called our hunger hormone. It is released by stomach oxyntic cells in fasting state. First of all, it stimulates the appetite, and secondly, it acts by directly promoting anterior pituitary to release the growth hormone. Okay, and thirdly, amino acids like arginine. Basically, this arginine, if amino acids, their uptake is done by diet or by infusion, either way they increase they stimulate the secretion of growth hormone releasing hormone, and they act on alpha adrenergic receptor present on neuron okay, and Fourthly, sleep. We know that we have heard that during sleep we are told that growth happens. So basically, growth hormone secretion is pulsatile. It does not happen in all stages of sleep, mainly the slow wave sleep or the deep sleep, the phase 3 or 4. It stimulates growth hormone releasing hormone again, and its mediator is neurotransmitter serotonin. About growth hormone inhibiting hormone, it's stimulated by hyperglycemia, because already the glucose is more, we don't need more glucose, so the signal will be sent and growth hormone inhibiting hormone will be released. Okay, and then further the growth hormone level will decrease. And also free fatty acids, these are the stimulus for growth hormone inhibiting hormone. Okay, and now let's talk about its hormonal control. What about the other hormones, their effect on the secretion of growth hormone? So thyroxine, cortisol, and estradiol. The thyroxine and cortisol, they are also stimulate the growth hormone. They stimulate the growth hormone release. Stimulate because basically they have synergistic actions, like all of them are diabetogenic, released during stress when there is a demand of glucose. And about estradiol, we know that during the puberty there is a sudden growth spurt. This is related to estradiol promoting effects of growth hormone. What happens is, let's say this is a somatotrope. Somatotrope means the growth hormone secreting cell, and it has estradiol receptors. So when this binding occurs, that estradiol bind to the its receptor present on somatotrope, then the somatotrope sensitivity to GHRH response or responsivity to GHRH, it's increase. So what happens is that during a growth spurt happens during puberty due to this estradiol in female as well as in males, because in males a little amount of testosterone is converted to estradiol, and the enzyme is aromatase. The enzyme is aromatase, hence it's growth spurt. And lastly, one more thing that happens is that in obesity, in the condition of obesity, all response to GH is dampened, means all responses of growth hormone are dampened, as well as the factors stimulating it. Even if GHRH effect is less and somatotropes are less responsive to GHRH in obese individuals. Also with age there is down regulation of receptors, and with age the growth hormones secretion decreases. Okay, so these were the factors roughly, and this ghrelin is secreted by oxyntic cells, and these somatomedins are insulin like growth factors. Somatomedin A, somatomedin C. Somatomedin C is insulin like growth factor 1. Somatomedin A is insulin like growth factor 2. Basically what happens is they are called insulin like growth factors because they resemble a bit in structure. In normal insulin we have A peptide, B peptide connected by C peptide, and during its maturation the C peptide is excised or it's removed. However, in insulin growth factors, there is no removal of any part between the peptide. It's like a single continuous peptide. Okay, and this insulin, like growth factors, they have some insulin like activities, but they are very weak physiological responses are there. Mainly these somatomedins help like in growth of bone, growth of cartilage, those effects. Okay guys, that's all. Bye. mm, this here it got a bit messy, but what you do is like make this basic purple color structure, and then on a side of GHRH the page will be more. You write these four factors: GGAS, glucose decrease, ghrelin, arginine, and slow wave sleep. Below glucose decrease stimulates GHRH. Ghrelin, you type that it's a hunger hormone secreted from oxyntic cells during fasting. It stimulates the appetite as well as it acts directly on anterior pituitary. Arginine also stimulates GHRH, and its mediator. How it works, its action is like by stimulating the alpha adrenergic receptor on neurons for GHRH. Slow wave sleep, he writes that it's deep sleep, and in the phase 3 about in the growth inhibiting factors, this side you write these: hyperglycemia and free fatty acids. Then first you explain these conditions, then you can go to the hormonal control. In estradiol you can add this point, that growth spurt during puberty. That's all guys. And lastly about obesity also you can add. That's all guys. Bye. Have a nice day. Keep learning.